Hey there, you got me. I was just about to have another delicious bowl of this The Child, the Mandalorian cereal. I'm not really sure what the name of this box is. I do know that they're getting rid of it, and that's why it was on sale. It was in the clearance section. It wasn't even in the food section.
I know why. So first off, spoiler alert, it is on clearance because it's no longer The Child. It is now Grogu. I can't even say it. Help me.
Grogu.
Grogu.
His cousin fought Vegeta many times.
It's now Grogu. So The Child is no longer relevant. We should banish him to the nether regions. It is now Grogu.
Yes. For those listening to the audio-only version of this, I am holding a box of cereal in my hand, which was available only at Walmart as far as I saw, and it is now on clearance. Anywho, if you would like to learn more about that cereal, you could check out my podcast, Seasonal Cereals. It's somewhere online. Great. Hi, I'm Kyle Souza. Welcome to Hey Mando. That other sultry voice you've heard is Ryan Ray. Ryan, I hope you're okay with me describing you as sultry. I don't know exactly the nature of our relationship yet.
It's borderline at best.
Okay. I'll back off a little bit. So I am Kyle Souza, though. Ryan Ray is here leading this podcast or hosting it. I'm co-hosting it.
What?
I'm hosting it. He's co-hosting it. Yeah. One of them. Maybe we're both co-hosting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sorry, I've lost myself in the details. Time to get focused. We're here to talk about The Mandalorian on Disney+. It is a TV show that you probably know about if you're listening to this. And if not, thank you, Memo, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Ryan does as well.
I do. Cal. Okay, so listen. I'm sorry. I know you want to pontificate, but we spoke briefly about this episode. We're going to fist fight during this episode. So I don't know much about what you think other than you told me enough that I hate you. So please, I have to know. You finished it finally. Tell me why I should continue to hate you because I know I already do.
I did not love this episode. I thought it was very underwhelming. I have a couple issues with Ahsoka Tano in particular for this episode. The best thing about this episode was the casting. And there were some really cool blasters.
Why are you the way that you are? Why? Like, what did you... Okay, can we play the tape back from last week when we said this was a slow burn? Dave Filoni literally listened to this podcast. He's like, hey, the big-headed guy who talks and mumbles, he knows what he's talking about. We're going to reshoot this entire episode, re-edit it, splice it up, and we're going to start off with action. And oh, by the way, the mission will not send him to 47 different planets where we're going to eat frog eggs. We're going to keep him right here and go find the person we've been teasing for episodes. It was glorious, Kyle. It was glorious. They put, I envisioned Mandalorian as an old lady on her front porch with her cup of coffee and one of those really long cigarettes and just taking, like she's and she's reading the front page and she's out there all morning until she turns the paper. Okay. The old lady got up and she got her iPad out and she flipped through the articles. It was actually a good pace. Why do you hate it? Why?
Okay. I'm okay with being wrong because I thought they were going to introduce Ahsoka at the end of the episode, not the very beginning. I'm okay with being wrong there. I have a long list of things that I have issues with. Where do you want to begin? The beginning, the middle, the end?
Not at your childhood. Let's don't go that far back.
Okay. I might still be in that.
Okay, touche.
If Grogu gets to be a 50-year-old child, then I think that's kind of also giving all these adults there still to Star Wars a little bit of license. Like, oh, look at this man-child. Well, I'm not as old as Grogu.
Start with Ahsoka. Why didn't you like Ahsoka? Because she couldn't be what she was in Clone Wars because it's a real human acting and it's not a movie. But
right.
So, taking all that consideration, I thought it was good.
So I do think that Rosario Dawson was a great pick. Okay, I really do mean it. I think that the casting.
I did not know real quick that she actually had those things. Like I thought she was she actually has the white things. That was cool. I didn't have to.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson was born with a rare condition where she has 3 head tails that are white and blue striped. She is actually a Togruta in real life. They have had to cut those out of every other one of her on-screen appearances.
These days.
Yes. So no, that is not a headdress that Ahsoka has. That is part of her person, which is why they're longer in the Rebels series.
Ignore the first screen right here. He is a deranged human. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I will try not to be distracted by his lies. Misconceptions. So, her head tails got longer in between Rebels and Clone Wars, which I would expect, or in between Clone Wars and Rebels, if you want to go chronologically. They should have gotten longer. When you look at other Togruta Jedi Masters, people like Shaak Ti, Master Shaak Ti, they're much longer, and others of those species, the older they get, the longer they get. And some of that can be controlled by biology and thickness and stuff like that, and whether they have 3 or 4. 4 is much rarer than 3. But I felt like they should have been longer. Okay, that's an aesthetic thing, an appearance thing.
Are you going to measure? Did you like pause the screen and like scale out her lightsaber length and compare it to the Clone Wars and the Rebels? And
no, but the lightsabers was actually my first issue. Okay, here's the first thing I saw. As soon as I look on the screen, and she had her lightsabers, I said, "Where did she get her lightsabers?" Because in the last episode of the Clone Wars, she leaves at least one lightsaber on the ground, and Darth Vader finds it years later. Okay, so did she recreate? Did she make a new lightsaber?
Right?
Did she have both of them in Rebels? I thought she only had one. I may need to go rewatch 5 years of TV this week. Okay. I know she's only in 5 of the episodes.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I know because she has a regular blade.
When she fights Vader, she has both of them. I don't know how it ends, but she has both of them in the YouTube clip I saw.
See, so she got a regular blade, she got her Shoto blade in Rebels, but this is not lining up with me. And I did see the end of Clone Wars more recently than seeing the end of Rebels or any of Rebels, really.
Star Wars,
it doesn't make sense to me. And then also at that one part where she's opening the lightsabers and they're like into each other and then they like grow slowly. What's that about? We've never seen anything like that. She's not Exarchon. How's she controlling the length of her light and the speed at which they extend? They're not extending into each other, okay? Also, because they'd be like bloop, 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 the entire time. Sorry about that noise for everybody listening, which would be anybody. My apologies for that noise there. I know it's great radio. If you'd like to hire me for Foley work, I'm on Fiverr. Just joking. So she's got her lightsabers pointing at each other, and she's extending them slowly, what looks to be into each other, but they have to be one behind the other, which would mean that she is stabbing herself in the arm with a lightsaber, and it is growing incredibly slowly. But you've never seen this. Isn't Spaceballs where the lightsaber is just like real slowly. They're always like, boop. And so that's another issue I had. I hope through all those sound effects you understood something.
Oh, gracious.
Again, my apologies to everybody listening to my sound effects.
So, yeah, I knew you were going to say something like that. Okay. So,
okay. Also, she left the Jedi Order. Okay. And I know at the end of Clone Wars, talking about the end of Clone Wars, like, well, did she leave or is it just a part of you? Okay, I can get over that. But she does kind of make one little allusion to it, but I would think that she would have made a bigger deal of I'm not a Jedi, you know?
Okay, yeah, okay. So let's dive into there because I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
You have to understand that where we're at here. Where we're at is she left. They've all been killed for the most part. And then she saw the Empire take over, reign supreme. Reign supreme for a few years, and then ultimately Luke Skywalker come back, and she probably thinks Darth Vader is dead because that's how they spun it, that he died. No one knows that he converted at this point in time. So in her mind, that that there's a sense in which, talking about the Jedi probably isn't like it is for us who are outside the timeline looking in. So, and then even at the end,
it should be a deal. It should be a good thing. They're establishing the New Republic, along with that, a new Jedi Order. Now, I know we're talking canon, not expanded universe, but I think it's going to follow the same lines. If Leia is in control of the New Republic, part of establishing the New Republic is harkening back to that old Jedi Order and establishing the new Jedi Order with Luke as the master there. It's going to be important. They're going to want to hold up these Jedi and say, look, we're legit. We have Jedi. And so, it should be a good thing that she's a Jedi. Not on this planet, not on Corvus, but on other planets.
Yeah, I don't know. So the episode is titled The Jedi, which is obviously talking about Grogu, not her, right?
Well, I mean, Jedi is one of those words that's both singular and plural in the same spelling. So maybe we need to look at like the French or Spanish translation.
That's true.
And see if because there in those languages, it does actually have.
I'll go read the Mandarin real quick, but go ahead. Okay. So the aesthetics beside the, I don't know. Go ahead. This is
she's a killing
Kyle's gears. Go ahead.
She's a killing machine, which looks really cool, but feels out of character for Ahsoka. Just her whole lightsabers off, lightsabers on, in the mist, stabbing. Like it looks really cool. And yeah, she did a lot of that with the robots or droids, as they're known. But it just doesn't seem like she's that type of person. Now, a lot could have changed in between.
I know. This is like this is my biggest problem with Star Wars fandom. Is like, hey, we saw the character 20 years ago, therefore they must be this way. Like people change. They change. I know you change, Kyle, and I've never changed, but I've heard of people changing. Like this Samuel's Landman Cap. I know this guy. Let me tell you something. I wish he would change. He's never changed. He's putting up very insightful comments on the live stream here. Like Worf got the arc of the clone at the end of the Clone Wars. I wish he would change, but he won't. But there are people who do change, and Ahsoka right now is on what? She left the Jedi.
Well, I mean, think of that other Disney property, Frozen, right? And the bad guys sing that song about give him a chance, he can change, and then they sing the song about actually nobody really changes. You should go with our guy and not that prince, right? And the trolls are the bad guys in that movie. I want to make it very clear for anybody at all passively familiar with English or Norse or Germanic mythology. Trolls are evil. They kill people, especially Christian men. They hate them, grind their bones to make their bread type of thing. I know that's a Giants saying, but trolls, same way. There's several documentaries about it. Anyways, trolls are the bad guys. They had it right, though, when they said people never change.
Okay, but Ahsoka, okay. So how would you like her to attack the castle? They're behind a 40-foot concrete wall. I mean, she could, Jedi flip over it, obviously. But, she's putting the fear of God into the soldiers, saying, you know what? I'm going to get the fog machine out. I'm going to spray a little fog out here in the forest. And then when you come out, I'm just going to massacre you. It's like a Jason or a Halloween or a, what was that movie, The Mist with the fog or something like that? It's like that. Like, they just needed the, like the Halloween thriller music playing. That was the only thing missing. Because if you're sitting there, you're like, okay, yeah. It's like the Predator. Like she was the ultimate Friday the 13th killing machine. And,
She was. And it looked really cool. It just felt out of character. It'd be like if I was a killing machine. That would never happen.
That's true.
Right. Now, I mean, she was much closer to it since she was trained with lethal weapons since she was a child and then put in charge of an army at the age of 14. Yeah. So she's much closer than I am, but still. It'd be like if I killed anything, ever.
Okay, so you didn't like the way that Ahsoka was just murking folks at the beginning.
Yeah. By the end, I got it. But this first part, I just, maybe it's because I missed the buildup of why she was there. Also, here's another thing.
She was there for Thrawn.
she was there for Thrawn, which I figured the whole time she's searching for Thrawn. Really, she's searching for Ezra, and that's why she's going after Thrawn. Which, where's Sabine? But here's the thing: how recently was Bo-Katan in communication with Ahsoka? Because from the time that Mando left Bo-Katan, went to Navarro, just destroyed an Imperial base, got his ship repaired, and then flew all the way to Corvus and found apparently the one city on the planet of Calodan. She hadn't gone anywhere. Was she just camping in the woods for weeks? Or was Bo-Katan just like, hey, I got somebody who's looking for a Jedi. Where are you going to be October 30th? What happened? I know October's not a month in Star Wars calendar years. So
yeah, okay. So I don't know how far the light jump is from planet to planet. That could be a continuity issue. Yeah. You get the impression though that they've been there for quite a while though.
Yes, you do. You do get the impression that she's been terrorizing for a while. Why did it take so long? Okay, why did it take so long? Especially given I'm gonna have to skip a couple pages in my notes to get to this point. So I would love to go back. But here's the thing: they team up let's do a Mandalorian and a Jedi together. They'll never see that coming. And then she takes out everybody, and he does nothing until the very end.
Well, okay.
I'm just saying she didn't need him. She did not need him. He's cool. He's great. But the way that they did it, she didn't need him. So what was taking her so long in the first place?
Well, okay, yeah. So if you go back to the beginning, she says you have one day. So theoretically, she has been wading through hundreds of these soldiers or whatever. So it could have been that there's a more formidable audience. It could be that it's a fictional show and they don't want you to think that hardly about it also.
Unlikely.
Yeah. So I don't know. As for needing him or whatever, it felt like, seeing Grogu and dealing in the Mandalorian and all that kind of, maybe it was what pushed her actually over the edge to go forward with what she was going forward with, because the scene, the shot where she's sitting there and she's talking to Grogu at the campfire at night. I'm calling Baby Yoda. I can't say Grogu hardly, but the scene where they're sitting there at night or dusk or whatever it is, it kind of felt like there was a sense of which she was kind of reminiscing about all that had happened, and so maybe she kind of needed that rebalancing, if you will, to kind of put her through her mission. And also, once she entered the city, she didn't necessarily need him, but he did. I can't speak. He did have a role, I think. And
he did have a role, but I don't think it was a necessary role.
Well,
no, he was tree number 2 in the elementary school play. And I know that's a little harsh, but it was a good joke.
But it's a great joke. But in Star Wars, everything is tree number 2 compared to a Jedi.
But the Mandalorian's not supposed to be. He's at least tree number 1, if not villager number 3, who has a small speaking role.
Well, okay. So think about this. The thing that I thought was ironic was the Bruce Lee's niece or daughter or whatever. She thought.
I think it was goddaughter.
Goddaughter, close enough.
Again, great casting because her dad is a martial arts expert too.
Yes, yeah. She believed that the Mandalorian single-handedly could go take down the Jedi, and so obviously he gets whipped
because some of them did.
I know. So there's a sense in which he was second fiddle, but there was also a belief. Like if I showed up and Ahsoka's out there, I'm like, yeah. They're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, do you want to go battle Ahsoka? I'm assuming I'm kind of like the cow or the goat on Jurassic Park to bring the T-Rex in. Like that's what I am. I'm the bait so that something else might come and get the T-Rex or Ahsoka in this case. They didn't send anyone else. It wasn't like when he found her, the troops popped out like, surprise, here we go. We're going to get her. They thought that he was going to be able to take her. So, obviously that did not go very well for him. It ended disastrously, fastly. Exactly how it should have ended, to be quite honest with you. But I thought that was funny that they believed that, hey, he's going to go do it. It's like, no, this is not going to go well.
Which he did a great job of not agreeing to it, right? He did a fantastic job of not taking the job, because if he took the job, he's got to do the job. It's his code of honor. There's a Boba Fett comic called Blood Ties in the EU. That's or a graphic novel, really. That's really cool. That really gets into that code, and I think they take a lot from Boba's expanded universe story for Mandalorian here. But anywho, if he took the job, he'd have to try to at least kill her, like he did, like we saw in the first 6 episodes or 4 episodes, where he takes the child. He does hand him over. He does leave, and then he goes back.
Yeah, I thought he was playing defensive. Obviously, he wasn't trying to kill her, but also I don't think it would have mattered a whole lot. I do think it's interesting. So, have you seen the Dave Filoni piece about the Duel of the Fates and what that type meant?
I have not, no.
Do you want to hear what it means?
Yes.
This is a massive spoiler for a 30-year-old movie, 20-year-old movie. So, Duel of the Fate is Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But the fate at hand is who will be the one to raise Anakin Skywalker. And so if Qui-Gon wins, Anakin will have a father figure to raise him throughout his life. But if he loses, Sidious will be the one to raise him. And so when Qui-Gon loses, he does not get the father figure that he needed. He gets a brother in Obi-Wan. And part of the problem that Anakin has is that he needs a dad and he has a brother. So I thought that was fascinating. Maybe you do all that.
That's really cool, because when I thought of Duel of Fates, I just figured it was either the fate of Qui-Gon or the fate of Obi-Wan or the fate of Darth Maul. Like somebody's dying, and that's the fate.
Yeah,
I was in like 6th grade when I saw the movie, though. So
yeah, you've never seen it, obviously. But knowing that Filoni said that about it's on the Mandalorian, Making Mandalorian season. If you go watch some of those, it's on there. I think it's the 2nd episode. Anyways, knowing that's in the back of his mind, hearing Ahsoka saying that Grogu needs a father, I think has a little bit more to it than just I don't want to raise him.
Okay, because I did have a problem with her not following through on her end of the deal. We're really jumping ahead, though, because I do want to bring up
I'm sorry,
everything that I have written down, but I do want to say,
back up. Rewind the tape. Go ahead.
She was spying on him, right? So Mando walks into a clearing, puts the child down, and then starts looking around for Ahsoka. And then she jumps out of the tree at him. She has, one, probably sensed the child as soon as he entered the atmosphere.
Right.
2, she could probably tell that the Mandalorian is not trying to actually attack her.
Mm-hmm.
But even if not, she saw him put this child down, and the first words she says is, well, I hope we're going to talk about him, right? So why even attack him? And then why did he not speak sooner? Like, hey, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan sent me. Instead, he's like trying to roast her. That's not a great way to start a relationship.
Yeah, looking back on my dating life in high school, it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. If you thought Gone in 60 Seconds was a bad way to start a relationship, or not Gone in 60 Seconds, well, Speed. That's what they make the joke about.
Yeah.
High stress situations being bad, start relationships. But I think it was just to set up Beskar versus lightsabers. I think that's the entire reason she attacked him, was so that they could do a little bit of exposition without it seeming like exposition. And she could attack the Beskar with lightsabers, and they could show the Beskar resisting it well because of the fight at the end of the episode.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's actually going to do with the black saber later on down the road.
But the black saber is a lightsaber.
I know, right?
So,
right. So you set it up.
Set what up?
that when Mando fights the guy with the lightsaber, he can resist it.
Oh, but see, okay. Maybe that's like the other thing that they're setting up. But they had to set up the fight at the end of this episode first, where like her lightsaber against the Beskar pole is not.
Sure. Okay. Well, you got to set that up. Otherwise, you have exposition that's like, it goes something like this. Hey, let's go kill the lady inside the thing. And Ahsoka's like, okay, cool, no problem. And Mando's like, she's got this stick that you can't break with your lightsaber. And Ahsoka's like, okay, cool, no problem. So, I mean, so would you rather some terrible exposition or like, even if Ahsoka got there and she saw the Beskar, I think it was like that was going to be the deterrent, right?
No, the Beskar's not going to be the deterrent. The fact that he is carrying a baby Yoda is the deterrent, and she could see all that and sense it. Yeah. Also, he walked away from his ship, leaving the door open in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, he learned nothing.
Yeah, his ship integrity is pretty brutal. Some of that stuff doesn't.
State Farm would not insure him.
Yeah, yes, obviously. Can we talk about global warming? No, I'm just kidding.
We could talk about the screeching noise that was happening in that opening scene. Ugh. If that's what global warming is getting us, then get Al Gore on this real quick.
One of the things when you read the book for episode 2, that is probably the best way to understand kind of how, at least my opinion, how the Jedi think and what they're really capable of as far as sensing and stuff like that. And so could Ahsoka sense what the Mandalorian was thinking and doing? Yes. She also could have sensed that the Mandalorian is thinking, I will kill her if she comes at me. Because he's probably thinking that too, right? He's probably not like, oh, everything's pure. This is flowers. Let's go out here. He's probably thinking, okay, I'm going to go out here, but if I got to kill her, I'm going to kill her, And so it's probably not as straightforward. When I don't know how good her senses are and stuff like that. So you would know better than me, but
she murdered several guards easily, so she's doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're all pissing their pants though. It's a little bit different. She's got like her infrared on. It's like, warm spot, dead. Warm spot, dead. Just mowing them down. Yeah, so some of that stuff that really bothered me, mainly because it didn't take 16 years to get there. Like 16 years to get there. It took 14, and 14 was my limit.
Yeah,
I couldn't take any more, and so I think I'd have a problem with it. But it's your show, and you hate Mandalorian, so whatever.
I don't hate the Mandalorian. In fact, I have liked almost every episode that you have disliked, and we just have very opposite taste. You know what it is, Ryan?
You like the good ones, you like the bad ones.
We're equal and opposite. We're a Force dyad.
Who's the light side and who's the dark side? Gosh, you have on the ball.
I hope I'm not Rey. I mean, nothing against Daisy Ridley, but I just don't want to be Rey. I don't have the hair for it.
You don't have the.
I don't have the hair for it. I can't be Kylo though. I don't have the chest for it.
No.
Oh man.
I could be Jabba. I got Jabba down. So.
We're gonna be Jabba, and I could be the Rancor trainer, maybe. Maybe that seems like a scary position. I could be one of the server droids. That would be our team up. Now, okay. All right, back to this episode though. Sorry, I just realized we are a Force dyad. Can you send me something through the Force? Transmit it over space and time. Could you do that?
Well, not on the live stream. It'd get kind of weird.
So, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I have a problem. I have a few problems with the sequel trilogy. We'll get to that at another time. Where were we with this episode?
You were complaining. You were just complaining. This is what grinds Kyle's gear. So go ahead, Kyle.
Her voice was a little bit deeper than I expected, given Rebels.
So, gracious. She's been smoking packs a day for like 40 years. What do you want from her?
There's that. The sound Grogu makes when Din says his name is very cute. He's just always like, oh, he sounds like a squeaky toy.
Kyle's first compliment of the episode. It took 30 minutes and 17 seconds.
Oh, I said it was great casting. The A350 rifles, those are awesome. That the guards are carrying, the blasters that all the guards have, those A350s, those are really cool. They did something that I do not like in TV shows and movies, though, when they cut to night. So they did this in Supernatural all the time, and I was a big fan of Supernatural, and I didn't like it when they did it there either. So like they're talking, and it's like daytime, and then the very next scene, it is night, and not like just became night, but like moon up in the sky, it is night, and it's like,
yeah, that's something. So, and if you go back to episode 2, I think it is. There's a scene where Anakin and Padme are talking, and they're walking like over this little bridge, and they're like, "I'm about to go to the forest," and then it cutscene, and the next scene is they're walking down the outside of the building, which you can see off in the distance, and the next words out of Anakin's mouth is, "And the forest is lovely." You know, whatever it was, like it's a continuation of the sentence. Like they just literally went like 100 yards, and like. Didn't say a word, and then Anakin picked, so there is things like that. It's like, how did you not plan that out just a little bit better? I'm not thinking I could direct a movie or anything, but I think I could at least, possibly, hopefully, theoretically, not going to happen, get that thing down. But I don't know. So, okay, what else?
Here's possibly the biggest continuity issue.
Okay.
Grogu was at the temple the whole time. Okay, if he is 50 years old, which we already figured he was alive before the Clone War happened. But to find out that he was raised in the Jedi Order and he was at the temple, one, Ahsoka may or may not have known him. I don't know how many younglings there were. I also don't know if you're allowed to be a 50-year-old youngling. They won't let you into some high schools for a GED program at that age. But maybe he was allowed to be a youngling because of the way his species ages. And so they hadn't been tracking him for 50 years. Okay, that answers some of my questions from season 1, or at least one of my questions from season 1. They weren't tracking him for 50 years. They are saying that he is 50 years old. So if he really is 50 years old and not from like an egg or something like that, then he was at the Jedi Temple pre-Clone Wars, and somebody ferried him away for safekeeping. Like, that's a huge continuity issue for me, that he was just at the Jedi Temple this whole time.
Why? What's the problem?
No, but like there's just no record of him. He's not in any of the movies. He's not in any of the other series. It's always been Yoda and Yaddle have been the only ones of their race around. Now there's another one. But the fact that he was at the temple the whole time is just like, what? I don't know. I know that wasn't a great explanation, but that was my big, like, what the heck moment.
But how many of the young Jedi do you actually know, at the temples? I mean, minus the ones that Anakin murdered and, that one too.
Yes, yeah. There's that one, Kanan Jarrus, which I guess he was really an apprentice or a Padawan at that time. So you don't know a lot of the younglings. I admit you don't know the younglings.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems inconsistent with the fact that he's like just been found. And then right after that, his dark memories. They took him to protect him. Or was it like a golden harp situation where somebody who wasn't really there to protect the Jedi Order just like grabbed the magic baby and then ran with him? Like, why does he have these dark memories if somebody took him out of the temple to protect him? So then they weren't trying to protect him. Also, he had to hide his abilities to survive, but they took him from the temple, so they would know that he had these abilities. And how was not using his abilities helping him to survive? Like, were they trying to train him to be an evil person? But if they were trying to train him to be an evil person, then why is the Empire trying to stop that? What other evil people are there? We see that the First Order works with the Knights of Ren, so like, an evil person. But if they're Hold on, I just heard myself.
Sorry, I was trying to pull something up. Go ahead. You're good.
Okay. So just that whole at the temple, and they got taken away, but apparently not for good reasons. Like that adds a whole lot more questions for me, and makes me go like, so he got ferried away from the temple when Order 66 got executed, or slightly beforehand. And he's just has he been locked inside his egg the whole time? his little carrier? Was he in the baby carrier the whole time? What was going on? It's all very confusing.
Well, okay, so let's maybe take this one at a time. Okay. So let's talk about the temple. The temple to me is not problematic, mainly because we don't know everyone in the temple. Okay. So that's an easy one for me. The other thing is Ahsoka seems to say that she is not aware of Yaddle. Did you catch that?
Yes, she only knew of one, which makes sense because I believe Yaddle was only present in episode 1 and not in episode 2. And she did not come into the story until after episode 2.
Right. But
there's no explanation. According to legends, Yoda didn't want Yaddle in the council anyway, so there may have been some shady dealings there.
But I'm saying,
rest in peace to Yoda.
Yeah, but there's no story about Yaddle dying in canon.
Not that I know of.
Right. So my point is that theoretically Yaddle was executed in Order 66. We don't know it, but theoretically, I mean, I can look up and see real quick. And Ahsoka goes, I don't know who Yaddle is, more or less. And so, I think, let's see here, to what Wikipedia has to say about it. I'm just saying, I think that there's stuff like that where you just, let's see here, she died.
Make sure that you're on the canon tab if there's more than one tab.
What do you think? It's my first day?
No.
How dare you, sir?
I'm sorry. I'm used to doing prep work before recording an episode, not in the middle of it.
Wow.
I just say I don't know. That's what I do. I just like, I don't know, and then I say stuff.
Wow. 19 BBY. When is that?
19 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah, I think that's when she died.
That would be Order 66.
That'd
be End of Revenge of the Sith would be 19 BBY.
Okay. I didn't do my prep work for the show. I didn't know we are getting into Yaddle theory, so
it's all good. I'm just joking with you.
No, I know you are. In 19
doesn't know me. I love Ryan. He's great.
The
fact that he's even trying to research it is way more than what I'm doing because I was willing to just be like, maybe, I don't know. It's not like I have a magic box in front of me that could give me all the answers.
Yes. Yeah. How dare you? So what do you do? I mean, seriously, what do you do? Do you say that, do you say that?
Thank you for the comment there. I appreciate it.
Depends on which goat we're talking about here, but regardless.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
The Jurassic Park goat. Anyways. I'm simply saying there's a lot of Jedi that we don't know. A lot of people don't know. I don't really have a problem with that. That's not a problem. I do think the problem could be is that, where was he in the training? So if he'd been training by many masters, you would assume that he's pretty well known. And why was he protected? I think that's an interesting question.
I think so too. Also, is he a really slow learner? Because I get that his species ages slowly, but if he got trained by many masters for many years, it couldn't be that many years that long ago.
Well, back then they had the classes, and so you had the Yoda class, you had the Obi-Wan class, the Qui-Gon class, or the Mace Windu class. You had all these classes. So theoretically, trained by many masters could be just used to say that you.
That's true, because I'm starting to take the Tolkien approach to elves towards him and his species aging, and so for Tolkien, elves were basically they lived so long they were generally immortal, though they died many times, usually after falling in love with a human man with great facial hair, but also they aged very slowly, but they could mature. They might be 50 years old before they leave home, or at least 30 before they leave home, much like a millennial. And
very much.
I love my fellow millennials out there, but they still learn stuff at a normal pace. So he should know as much as any other 50-year-old creature knows, unless his mental capabilities are also reduced, to keep pace with his physical aging. If his mental aging is slowed down also, then that's a whole nother problem for me.
Yeah. So I agree that there's a question about the age. You're an ageist. Let's just put it out there. You're an ageist, and that's whatever you can.
Well,
you're an
I
ageist.
think the show's being ageist. I think I'm anti-ageist. I mean, call me Revlon. I remove wrinkles.
Okay.
No,
whatever. I do think who saved him and why, that has to be answered, because theoretically, and I put this out on my on that post 23 the other day, I think we're going to get to the point to where Moff Gideon is not the only one doing this, which means there are other Moffs out there looking for Force-sensitive people, draining their blood like Dracula, and trying to inject it into someone like a steroid user bodybuilder. So I think that's going to play out, right?
I will agree with you on that. I did want to discuss Moffs and Admirals and the grand status a little bit too.
But hold on, wait a minute. So if that's true, then whoever saved these younglings, or whatever herd of group of young Jedi that Grogu was in, it's potential that there's a bunch of these cats that have been used over the past 20, 30 years for the Empire to run experiments on. But
whoever took them didn't take them for the Empire, because the Empire had to go hire somebody to track them down.
No, that's what I'm saying. So whoever took them was defeated later on or died of old age. So some people have speculated it's a librarian, some people Yoda, some people Mace Windu, whatever. So whoever took them died, and then they were taken by the Empire. Now, whether that was by force or by bad luck, I don't know. My point is that there could be multiple Baby Yodas type things out there that have been experimented on, and he may be the last one. There's still maybe some left, and I think that's ultimately where we're going to go with the show at this point.
I'm not sure about ultimately where we're going to go with the show.
Let me rephrase.
I'm not saying a lot of money for Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying like this is like they're going to make it into like a multiverse cloning series. I'm just saying that I think that this will be something that will be teased out. That ultimately, by the end, whenever this show wraps in 47 seasons, Grogu will not be the only one. There is another, or others at least.
I think you're right. I do think you're right about that. I'm also confused about the abilities fade comment when she's just like, "Oh, just let his abilities fade." So using the Force isn't like riding a bike, apparently. So you can lose your Force sensitivity if you don't use it. It's like it's more like vacation days.
Well, Luke turned it off. Remember?
He does, but he does that on purpose, right? And there was also non-canon support for the ability to do that, which I thought was awesome.
As Samuel's Landman pointed out, the 8th Star Wars is the best in the series. So
okay, I disagree with that, but there were a couple cool things. The fact that Luke shuts himself off from the Force, just like Nomi Sunrider did to quell drama, is awesome. Secondly, that the hyperspace jump through the Dreadnought class ship, which they radically changed from the expanded universe by Admiral Holdo, also looks awesome, even though it disobeys the laws of physics as established in Star Wars for the way hyperdrives work. So there were lots of awesome things. Canto Bite was kind of weird. There's things, Sure. I got problems with number 8, but it's not all bad. Okay.
Well, yeah. I just don't get on Samuel. He's kind of a kooky guy, kind of like Obi-Wan.
But I appreciate his comments. I listen to dissenting opinions.
Well, I don't know if we should listen to him, but that's neither here nor there. No, Samuels is a good friend. We won't give out his real name to protect the innocent or guilty.
Yes, we don't want to tell anybody what Samuel's name is.
Yes. Samuel's Landman on Twitter. We don't want anyone to go look that up. So Grogu. Here's why I took that to mean. Okay. Anakin at age, what was he in episode 1? 10?
9, I think, maybe 10.
9. And then the Broom Boy at episode 8, to bring that back in at the very end, right? Yeah, I think that that people, if I understand correctly, they have the Force, they can use the Force, but I don't think they can all bring X-wings out of the ocean, right? That's a refined.
No, but that's not a use or lose it thing. That's something that they learned how to improve it, but they don't lose their abilities. It's not like doing a high jump.
Well, right, but okay, so is she saying if you don't encourage it, he'll grow up and he'll probably forget he has this, which is quite possible. Or is she saying if you don't use this, he'll never be able to use it again? I don't think she's saying that. I think she's saying if you just don't talk about it, he'll probably just kind of grow out of it. And yeah, every now and then he'll do something kind of weird. If something bad happens, he'll throw out some force stuff to do something. But I don't think she's saying like it goes away.
Well, you and I understand that sentence differently, and that's okay.
You're a literalist.
I am a literalist, yes.
That's not how language works all the time.
Not all the time.
Literally.
But when somebody's saying something like it's a fact, that's how it works.
But was she saying? I don't. Okay.
Well, I took it like a fact. Maybe she wasn't. I would like to invite Rosario Dawson on to the show.
No. We want Grogu. Grogu should answer the question for himself. He needs to come on.
I watch the show with subtitles, and there's a lot of times it says he's cooing or babbling. Like, it literally says cooing and babbling on the screen, and I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
not sure to be a good guess.
Audio?
Have I ever what?
Listened to it with descriptive audio?
No, I haven't.
So, I was watching a video about last week's episode 12, The Siege, and it said at the end, it tells you, if you turn on descriptive audio, what those troopers are at the end. And so what will happen is it'll say camera pans and focuses on Kyle Souza. And so that's what it says. And then you start talking. So here it's camera turns to Moff Gideon and whatever the troopers were.
I'll need to watch it with descriptive audio because I do like watching it with the subtitles. I watch it one time just purely for enjoyment. And I love it. And then I watch it. Yeah. And then I watch it a second time and I tear it apart. No, most of the time I don't tear it apart. Most of the time I enjoy it.
But you're being me this episode, Kyle. I'm supposed to be negative. You're positive. Why are you the way that you are? Don't be me. That's my role in this show. I'm the complain. I'm the carpetbagger. I'm the one like, oh, this is terrible. And you're like, Star Wars. And you bring me up. And you carry me to the next episode. Now you're bringing me down, man.
Well, this time there was only one set of footprints in the sand. You're going to have to carry me. For anyone who got that reference, you have been inside of a Grapevine bookstore. Back when that was a thing. I did like the fact that he called a lightsaber a laser sword because that is what I heard growing up.
That was hilarious.
All the time. He's like, your laser sword. And I was like, yes.
He's
proven he doesn't know what the Force is. Yes. He's finally understanding that. Yeah. Now he's calling a lightsaber a laser sword. I love it.
Can we also applaud the fact that we've had some very funny moments that were like, when he puts the jetpack on the Jawa or whatever it is and shoots it up, or, Baby Yoda being a mass murderer, whatever it was. But this episode really didn't have the humor. This episode really didn't have the humor angle. He did call it a laser sword, and it's funny for us, but it's not really the same kind of funny as the jetpack incident or the other stuff we had before. It was a lot more subtle, a lot more nuanced. I kind of appreciated that this episode was more serious, and so hopefully they'll kind of go back and forth. Some episodes are more light, more fun, some a little bit more dark and serious.
I did like that. The first time I watched it on my phone, and I kept turning the brightness up on my phone, thinking that my phone had auto-adjusted. And no, it was the production on this episode was very dark, and so. But I did like that. I agree. That kind of subtle humor, and it's only there if you want it type thing was great.
And real quick, just as two guys who get a laugh rate of 10% of the jokes combined,
maybe. If you're talking more than me, because you're funnier than me.
Yeah, that's being generous. That's counting us laughing at our own jokes as well. So, one of the things that if you're always trying to make a joke, you don't make most of them. So it's good to see them kind of like back off of the jokes because that makes them all the better. And it also showed you that Mando took the encounter with Ahsoka a little bit more serious than he had the previous things that he had done.
That is true. He was taking it very serious. I think her laser sword was overpowered. I think we saw that with the gong when she cut it in half. like it was butter,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's to set up that like, oh, Beskar is just so much better than this other thing. But like when you harken back to Episode 1 with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan sticking their lightsaber into the blast shield door to get out of the negotiation room, then I just don't think that there's really a good canon explanation for why her lightsaber was so overpowered there. That's just a little side note. I can get past it. Let's see. Speaking of subtitles, also, I can only see myself right now and not see you. I don't know if that's supposed to be happening. For everyone listening who can't see either of us, I just remembered that there is an audio-only version of this going out.
Yeah, they can. Yes, this is to bring in the viewers. We're showing them the money face right now.
Is there somebody behind me? Is it the shirt?
It's a shirt.
There's a Mandalorian on my shirt, right?
Yes.
Somewhere.
The audio folks.
It helps if I look at the shirt.
Yeah.
Anyways. I said a Mandalorian, not the Mandalorian, because it was Boba Fett. The subtitles for the aliens were weird for the guards, because it just was like, speaks an alien language, says something in alien. And it's like, that's lame, because before they've translated what the aliens are saying. So I just thought that was kind of lame. There was one cameo, possibly two cameos, harkening back to the Rebels series. One being an owl, one being a lost cat, and the owl's not really an owl, if it is.
Yeah, it's the goddess or whatever.
Yeah, the daughter. Yeah. Which the whole Mortis arc is very confusing, very weird, and I would love to get into it more. But I don't know that that's who that is. Well, I'm thinking that might have just been a bird.
I think it's there so that you think that's who it is, but not what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you go, oh, so when you make your 47 Easter eggs you missed in Star Wars, like you put that in there and you go, see, this must be this. And if you were to ask them, like, well, they wanted you to think about that, but that's not. It's just an owl.
Yeah,
it's not that owl.
But there was a lost cat there. Yeah, there was a lost cat. In the Young Anakin books, there is a Jedi Master named Ikrit on Yavin 4 who is mistaken for a creature. So there is definitely there definitely is premise in Star Wars for creatures not to just be force sensitive, but to actually be force wielders, or for alien species to be mistaken for creatures, because he was a sentient species, Ikrit, or maybe a she. I'm not sure if Ikrit was a he or a she now. Anyways, sorry.
Notes. So please, we don't want to.
Yes.
Since you prepared.
Sorry. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare.
I want to make sure.
I just watched the film. I didn't know I could do more than that. I watched the show like 300 spoiler videos, so
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to when I don't know something, and you can be like, "I thought you were going to prepare, Kyle."
It's coming.
Okay, so here's the thing. Well, you know what? I want to get to that at the end because it's a big one. Let's see. Oh, somehow that was not on silent. My apologies to anyone who never heard that.
Yeah, I've got a guess on what it was. You didn't prepare. Yeah, my phone's on.
Touche, my friend. Touche. Which the first time I read Touche was actually in a Star Wars book. Luke said it, and I had no idea how it was pronounced, and I thought it was touchy. And just a little bit of Kyle lore here. I thought it was touchy for a long time, and it wasn't until I said it like in school while reading aloud that they were like, "No, it's Touche," and I was like, "I don't think you know Star Wars." And they were like, "Well, this is Catcher in the Rye or something." I don't know. So let's see. We got that. Okay, so at the end when he's facing off against Lang, okay, Lang is the head guard, right? He's got his shoulder thing on, but before that, when Ahsoka goes into the town square, she throws his shoulder armor down. So I guess he just puts it on, because I did look, and this is a compliment, because when he shows up, he is not wearing it. You can see that it's the stuff under the armor that is exposed. But then when he goes to fight Lang, it is on. So I just want to say they did a really good job with consistency there. See, I give compliments.
Look at that.
You just have to earn them.
You have to earn them.
I kind of liked Kyle Reese, Lang, in this episode. I think it's great that they're using all these actors that other fans of the series would enjoy, or people who would enjoy this kind of thing would enjoy him in something. But they always kill them off, right? Carl Weathers is the only one they've kept around.
Kyle Reese, is he the Terminator?
Yes, yeah, from the first Terminator.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so I do appreciate it, but the Terminator's been like 40 years ago, and it's like, the first Terminator, give me the T-1000 guy or whatever from T2. Like, bring that cat in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And also, why not give him an actual, let's see here. One of those does not actually have an accredited name. No, Lang has one.
The one who became the governor or magistrate at the end, I did not see him on IMDb.
He's Governor Wing.
Oh, is that his name?
Yeah, W-I-N-G, like a bat wing.
Governor Wing. Okay, I guess I missed that. I didn't see that he got credited.
Yeah, his real name is Wing Tao Cho, I think. So.
Okay. We talked about Ahsoka breaking her deal and that not being cool. Before that, when she's like, "Where's your little buddy?" and he's like, "He's on the ship. I'll go get him." I thought he was just gonna leave. I thought he was just gonna be like, "Nah, I'm not giving him up," and just like jet out of there. He didn't, and it would have been out of character if he had. But that's just something that went through my mind.
Why did that of honoring her deal bother you so much?
Because I think that people should stick by what they say they're going to do. I know I feel that a lot, but this is a do as I say, not do as I do type of situation.
But okay, yeah. But she's not a Jedi anymore, so she has no code to uphold. She's a mercenary.
She's still a person. I almost said she's a human. She's not.
She's not. That would be incorrect. Did you do your research?
She's a humanoid.
Yeah.
I did. I'm sorry, Mr. Headtails over
there. I'm just saying.
She still has those body parts? No, just joking.
Just joking. Yeah, she's a mercenary now. She's I don't know if mercenary is the right term, but she's more or less a killer. That's what she does. She goes around and kills people for whatever. She's Batman plus the mass murdering.
Okay, so let's talk about what she's doing, and then let's talk about what Mando's doing next. Sound good?
Next, or what he's doing? Like you say next, like the next episode, or what you think he's going to do next?
Like what his new mission is.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so she brings up Grand Admiral Thrawn, and when we were introduced to Thrawn, it was as Grand Admiral Thrawn in the post-Return of the Jedi era, which matches up with this timeline very nicely. That was all expanded universe, and Timothy Zahn did a great job. And I love those Heir to the Empire series. I have an autographed copy because I got to meet him last year. It's wonderful. But that storyline is now no longer canon, even though that character has been brought into canon. Last time we saw that character, he was simply Admiral Thrawn, not Grand Admiral Thrawn. So
is that counting the new book?
Well, last time I saw him, because I have not read all the Thrawn books, okay? And by that, I mean I haven't read any Thrawn books. But last time we saw him on the screen was at the end of Rebels when Ezra Bridger rides a magical space whale into hyperspace with Thrawn as prisoner. And the magical space whale is called a Purrgil, and it actually can travel in hyperspace. And it's actually what gave humans or sentient beings the idea to travel in hyperspace, apparently, according to what Kanan says there, though there's some issues with that in the lore. But anyways, last time we saw Thrawn on the screen, he was an admiral. So he has come back and been promoted to Grand Admiral, which means that Ezra is in trouble, is what I'm taking from that. because either Thrawn got the upper hand and killed Ezra, or Thrawn captured Ezra because Ezra would not have just let him go to where he could get back to the Empire. So sometime before the Empire collapsed, Thrawn was made a Grand Admiral because Grand Admirals and Grand Moffs reported directly to the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And Tarkin, if you read the Tarkin book, is basically third in command of the Empire, right? And so he could, but see, Moffs and Admirals, they're different classifications. It's like, who's more in charge, a governor or a general? Like the governor can request things of the general, but the governor is a civilian title and the general is a military title. It's the same thing here. Moff is a civilian title. But anyways, they both reported directly to the Emperor. And so sometime before the Emperor died, I think Thrawn came back. So I just want to put that out there for whatever it means. Any thoughts?
I'm just looking here. I don't do research.
No, you're doing great.
Yeah, it says in Thrawn Alliances, focuses on Thrawn's partnership with Vader, whom he meets at the conclusion of Thrawn. In the novel, Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Vader are sent to. It calls him Grand Admiral, and so
he does call him Grand Admiral there. So, but see, the fact that he's met with Vader.
The mission explores.
Well, no, Vader's in Rebels. So this, what's the timeline on that? Does it have a timestamp?
It's published in 2017, but that's not what you're asking.
No.
Those are not the droids you're looking for. Sorry.
Yeah, we need an ABY or a BBY here.
It is 19 BBY.
Okay, so 19 BBY. So that's before Rebels. So that book, Thrawn Alliances, that's happened before. Well, that's interesting. They refer to him as Grand Admiral in that, but only Admiral in Rebels. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe
yeah. Listen, I don't know. This is just.
Wait. You said ABY, not BBY.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's before.
Yeah.
What's that sound mean?
The publisher.
Did I win something?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard a ding. I didn't know.
Yeah, kind of control find. Just trying to be super cool. The publisher summary says Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Vader ally against the threat to the Empire in this new novel from best-selling author Timothy Zahn. I'm going to say Zahn might know. I don't know. You may know. I'm going to guess that Zahn knows.
I'm sure he does, and I wish that this series had come out before I listened to him talk about Thrawn for an hour last year. But
it did.
A missed opportunity. And who knows if we're ever going to have Comic-Cons again. Thanks, COVID.
Yeah, good gosh. Okay, so I don't have a problem with her breaking her word, changing her mind. She used him as a means to an end. She's a gray Jedi now, or whatever you want to call her. That doesn't bother me at all.
Okay, yeah. She used him. Ryan's fine with men being used for the nefarious purposes.
I'm
okay. All right. Tython. So that's what I want to talk about next. So she says, take him to the old Jedi temple on Tython, and he can reach out with the Force if he wants to. And if he does, another Jedi might find him. Also, another bad guy might find him. Okay? Also, we know that he's being tracked by Moff Gideon, that there's a tracker on his ship.
I'm going to find him because I'm watching next week.
Well, there's that. So, for anybody unaware, Tython is a deep core planet. It is in the expanded universe. Tython was the home world of the Jedi. It was the birthplace of the Jedi, I should say, not the home world, but the birthplace of the Jedi. And then they moved from
the Jedi, right? Not the Jedi.
No, the actual Jedi Order. Not. I know what you're saying, but no. That's a precursor to Jedi. All right. So
I'm an OG, bro. I'm sorry. I'm an OG. Like, I predate Yoda. Just saying.
Hey, no, and Tython does predate the High Republic. So we got that. But so Tython was the original birthplace of the Jedi Order. And from there, they moved to other planets. Particularly Ossus, I believe, was the second birthplace for the Jedi, which in canon, though, that is not substantiated. It is kind of in contention. It's pretty much believed that Coruscant is not the birthplace of the Jedi, especially given the fact that in canon there was a Sith temple buried beneath the Jedi temple.
Kind of a bad way to do it.
Yeah. Secondly, you have Octo, right? Or Octu, however you want to pronounce that, where Luke is. I don't think that's the birthplace of the Jedi. Third, you have Ossus, right, which has the Jedi records, which if you get into, I think in canon, it's referred to as the Quell drama epic, which is only referenced in one of the role-playing games, but it's based off of the comic series Tales of the Jedi with it's the Exarchon, Freedon Nad Uprising, Nagasato, all those things. And I love that. It's that series that made me love more than just the movies. Just want to put that out there. And that's Ossus. And then you have Tython, right? And so those four places, I don't think any of those four places are the founding place in canon, because I just think that's too easy. But he is going to this place that is known to be a very Jedi place. But here's the other thing. Other bad people have been to Tython. Dr. Aphra, if you've read any of the Vader or Dr. Aphra comic stories, so she has her own title. But Dr. Aphra is not quite an apprentice to Vader, but an assistant. And she leads him to Tython as a bit of a diversion from Hoth Echo Base, because there's a similar locale up there. And so bad guys can find Tython. The Empire knows about Tython. There's a homing beacon on his ship. Moff Gideon is going to go to Tython. And if he reaches out with the Force, it's not just good people that could sense him. It's bad people. We've seen that in Rebels, where Ezra reaches out with the Force and Darth Maul finds him, as well as Yoda. So...
Okay, so
yeah.
Right, so Moff Gideon's going to go regardless, nothing to do with the Force, or not necessarily. He's going to go because he's got technology on his side. The good, the bad. This is why you don't trust a great Jedi. They don't know what they're talking about, right? I hate to be a grayist here, but I am.
I don't think it's the fact that she's a great Jedi that causes the problem. I think it's the fact that she's a dropout. That's
Wow, too soon, sir. Too soon. That's over. That's uncalled for. It's true. It's 100% true. It's factual. It's spot on. But it's too soon.
Look, when I have nothing at risk, I will say a lot of stuff. I feel like I am in no danger here from any of these characters, actors, writing staff. I have no job with Lucasfilm that is under threat for me saying this. Yep. I wrote a letter to Lucasfilm back in the day saying that I would happily portray as any member of the Skywalker family at no cost in any of the movies and TV shows if they were to make any more. That's back before they even announced Episode 7. I was like, George, please make an Episode 7. I will be a Skywalker at no charge to you.
I know, George. You're struggling to find people to portray a Skywalker. However, I'm the man to step up to take this role. This is a role that no one wants. This is a role that no one's talking about. That you're probably having, like, I know that in California and Hollywood, there are people who move there and give up their career from Idaho or Wisconsin or Florida, and they move to Hollywood to wait tables in the hopes of landing any kind of role. However, those people will not take the Skywalker role, but I, Kyle Souza, just outside of Houston, Texas, sir, will give up everything and do it for free. The fact that you did not get that job is astounding to me. It is astounding.
I know. Yeah, teenage me was also very surprised.
Like,
I will make it clear. I was in double digits age when I wrote that letter. I was at least 16, if not 20.
I love that gap there, like a 4-year gap. I was either a pimple-faced kid or ready to die for my country. Somewhere.
We're talking Star Wars. Time means nothing.
This is why pinning down the Grogu age is so important for you.
I can't pin down my own age. You know.
To be awesome, to be serious with you, I think it's awesome that you wrote that letter. That's great.
I did another one for DC saying that I would happily portray either Barry Allen or Wally West or Bart Allen at, again, no cost in a movie.
Right now, I will not do it for free. So if you want free, go with Kyle. If you're going to pay, you get this ugly mug. If you want to pay for this ugly mug, then we'll take the cash. But if you want free, he's right next door. He's there. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that. Thrawn could come. We don't know who's out there, obviously, but is there any other bad Sith-like creatures? Maybe Snoke, if he's been cloned or invented or whatever yet. But beyond that, is there anyone else that can get Grogu? And real quick, also, Ahsoka will die. No, they're doing a spin-off series. So Ahsoka will have to come save him, right?
She'll probably come save him. She can't die because, I guess she could die because in episode 9 they still had dead people talking to her.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think they're going to kill her off anytime soon. For Ahsoka,
she can come and fight off someone.
And Thrawn does have a habit of seeking out Force-sensitive things, right? He does have a habit of that. He's very intrigued by the Force. And I'd love to see a live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn. Grand Admiral Thrawn's just a cool character, even though he's a bad guy. Just a really cool character.
You are the dark side of this relationship. So Thrawn's going to probably show up to find Grogu, potentially. Is he Force-sensitive at all, Thrawn?
In Star Wars CCG, he definitely was, but I don't know about in canon if he is, or if he's just hyper intelligent.
Thrawn might show up. Moff Gideon will definitely be there. Ahsoka will probably show up. What about Luke, Mace Windu, Yoda's Grogu's dad, Yoda, or Mom Yaddle, the librarian? Who else might we see?
Well, Yoda's dead, so maybe we'll see him. We've got. I think Mace Windu's dead. I think he's dead. I think he's done. I don't think Samuel L. Jackson's coming back to Star Wars. I think that. I don't think we're going to see Luke either. I think that's what they want us to think, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to find some other Jedi that survived the Purge and has been hiding away after another bad person, whether it be the Knights of Ren or some other just evil Force user.
It can't be the Knights of Ren. Ren isn't born yet.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Some other Night Sisters, something.
Little Knights of the Poor.
Hey, the Night Sisters are a legit group. Galaxy of Heroes. You could build a Night Sisters team.
Yeah.
They had a very intense mating ritual for picking their spouses.
But we don't have, other than Thrawn and Moff Gideon, there's no one else that we can reasonably expect them to send our way, right? Probably not. No. Like, I agree. If you send Luke or Snoke, like, those are too big of characters for this storyline. Not because they're too big of characters because they're in Star Wars, but if you bring Luke Skywalker in, it's over. Like, this is the problem with Luke Skywalker, and this is why I think they handled him right, actually, in Episode 8, is that if he's around, he's just slaying folks when he wants to. And so if you bring in Luke Skywalker for Episode 6, whoever shows up will die, and it will be fast, and it will be anticlimactic. Now, maybe that's what the fans want, but I don't see how you bring in Luke.
Well, that's what they've set Ahsoka Tano up as the Person Slayer, which would be the lamest name ever. The Person Slayer.
But no, I mean, now how do you spin that Luke does not come? That's the question.
He's busy with other things.
What?
And
built the Empire with him partying?
He's what?
He just destroyed the Empire. What's he doing, partying?
He's rebuilding the Jedi Temple and the Jedi Order and thinking about killing his nephew.
I think they're going to explain why Luke didn't come. Maybe Luke gets there late. Like he's too far. Well, like you could make the planets where they're on the opposite side, and it just takes him too long to get there.
That it would be really funny if one of the ending scenes is like Mark Hamill on the planet, and he's just like, I came all this way for nothing.
Yeah,
and then he just like drinks some other colored milk. He's done the green milk. He's done the blue milk. He needs something else.
Yeah, I think you have to explain why Luke doesn't come. Now, maybe it, you send Kyle the Padawan to go on Luke's behalf because you don't think there's a threat because you destroyed the Empire. But I think you do have to explain why Luke doesn't show up. I do not think Luke can show up though.
No. I think Luke knows that there's a threat. I think Luke knows there's a threat because even in the last episode, the X-wing pilot makes a comment about there's something happening, and that's alluding to the First Order, right? And the First Order is kind of an enemy from within.
It can't be the First Order. Can't be.
It can't be. Why can't it be?
The First Order doesn't come to prominence until 7 years before Episode 7.
Okay, come to prominence, but it's getting formed, right? They're alluding to it starting because the First Order came from within the New Republic.
Okay, go, spoiler alert here. Go read the book Bloodline, and then come back and talk.
Okay.
Go do it right now.
Okay. I will not have that done by the next time we record.
Why are you the way that you are? We've started and ended with the same line. Get it on Audible, put on 2-speed.
Oh my god, those put me to sleep. I cannot do audiobooks. I've tried.
No wonder you can't get things done.
I have to actually read a book. Like, if I have a book, I have to read it.
Man, I've got books laying around. I got all kinds of books I read. I got books here. I've got... It's backwards. Oh, gracious. Yeah, this is great.
Okay. No, I get it. You have a bookshelf in your room. I don't have a bookshelf in this room. One of these days, I'll get... you are doing the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish.
Bookshelves? Oh, what's that? No. That's not.
Okay.
That's the bookshelf. Well, that's part of the bookshelf. So, anyways, I'm giving you a hard time. But no, you gotta learn to listen to books. But go read Bloodline, or go look up the spoilers, and then tell me how it's the First Order. I'm not saying it's not, but it would seem to be that it's a stretch.
I don't think it's called the First Order at this point, but it's the seeds of the First Order is what I think he's alluding to.
Well, we got
already put Brian to sleep.
Yeah. Your audiobooks put you to sleep. You put me to sleep. So there we go.
I have that effect on people.
I'm kidding. No, we got 20 years for the First Order.
About.
Okay, so that would make, if this is the seeds of the First Order, that would make the slow burn of the Mandalorian the slowest slow burn ever. It's like the First Order.
That's what you said.
You think the Mandalorian's a slow burn? Yeah. Wait till you see how long it starts to take the First Order.
Yeah.
If this is just seriously a show to launch the First Order, I might murder everyone involved.
I don't think that's the purpose of the show.
Okay, hold on, Kyle. I know I said that. I wasn't being literal. I said it like jokingly. Like, I'm not gonna kill anyone. I'm not Ahsoka Tano. I'm like.
I assumed you were being hyperbolic.
No, not even hyperbolic, because hyperbolic means I would hurt them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because right. So if you're being hyperbolic, you're saying like, I will.
Oh, yes.
Right, yeah.
Yes, I see.
Yeah. So I don't even want to be hyperbolic. I was just completely lying, fibbing, fabricating. I love everyone. I'm a humanitarian at heart. Global warming's real or fake, regardless. Sorry, I had to throw that back in. The ravaged planet, I thought was just interesting. I don't know. I thought they did a good job of like the ravaged planet, and then like the huge dinosaurs just outside the forest. It's like, what are those things eating? Like, are they eating?
They're eating the trees.
There's no leaves. There's no leaves.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what you have to do. If there's no leaves, you just start eating the bark.
Also,
What do
Also,
you eat?
well, whatever. Also, let me just say this. This is one of the deficits that Star Wars has that makes it more interesting, though, is in Star Trek, they would just land with the replicators and they just replicate stuff. They just build it out. Star Wars didn't have replicators. So you have to build stuff manually, which is an interesting dynamic. Because in Star Trek, it causes problems because you're like, these people need stuff. It's like, well, we can just replicate it. Oh, it's broken, or we can't quite replicate that, or can't replicate it fast enough. Not having the replicator is actually a great thing.
I agree.
We can't end like that. We
can't end with me agreeing with you?
No, I refuse.
I checked everything. I checked off all my complaints and compliments.
What's your prediction next week? Slow burn.
Prediction for next week?
Slow burn next week.
Yeah. Everything that you loved about this episode, they're going to do the opposite next week. And I'm going to like it.
Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Next week's going to be a lot of them in space. Next week might be a bottle episode.
We're agreeing again, though. This is the problem.
We haven't done a good bottle episode for this series. So maybe that'll be a good bottle episode.
What is a bottle episode?
Oh, that's where everything takes place in one room.
Oh, when they're trying to save money on a budget.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think they're trying to save money on a budget. I think they're just doing what they want, and I think they'll want to do something at some point where he's just traveling the whole time.
Okay, so according to IMDb, they have 3 more episodes, ending on December 18th. So the 4th, the 11th, the 18th. If they do a slow burn next episode, they're really going to have to push things together for the last 2 episodes. So they might do a slow burn. You know what? They're probably going to do a slow burn. And then try to wow you with the last 2 episodes. But my prediction is, I actually think, so they're going to, what's the name of the planet they're going to? Not Navarro.
Typhon.
So they're going to Typhon. What could distract them? That's the question.
What could distract them? I think that maybe we'll see gravity wells come into play. Okay. And maybe he gets pulled out of hyperspace, even though that, because that would actually be a great way to introduce Grand Admiral Thrawn, as he was the big push behind engineering gravity wells. But some advanced forces from Moff Gideon might delay him. I think I'm not sure about next episode, but I think the episode after next, they're going to get to Typhon, and they're going to get to the peak, and he's going to reach out. And then I think in the last episode, Moff Gideon's going to come to Typhon, and they're going to have to battle with him again. But I don't see them killing Moff Gideon yet. I think he's kind of the big bad for at least 3 seasons, if not 4.
He's not bad. I mean, I don't know. I think killing him doesn't matter. He doesn't. Maybe. You might be right. Well, if they're bringing Thrawn in, you don't need Gideon anymore, though.
No, you don't. But I don't know that they're going to bring Thrawn in. I think that was your idea. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to bring him in. As cool as it would be. She is looking for it, but unless the show pivots to follow her, that's her thing. So I think we'll see that in the Ahsoka Tano series.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't think they go to Typhon next episode either. I don't think they get there. I'm thinking he goes back to the Mandalorian Guild. He's got a little soul searching to do.
You're talking about the culvert on Navarro, or
Bo-Katan.
Oh, you think he hooks up with Bo-Katan? Finds her. Okay.
Boca-Raton's easier to say because it's in Florida, but whatever. I hate when you get notifications while you're recording.
Yes, to avoid those, I remain unpopular.
No, it's just updates from my computer.
Yes, mine was an alarm, so yeah, it wasn't anybody trying to contact me.
I don't know how to turn this off though, so I don't know how to hey, this needs to be updated. Well, okay, great. I don't want to do that about that. Maybe you can do a podcast on random tech thoughts on that, because that is random. I think he goes back to Bo-Katan. He's you got to think where he's at right now. Mm-hmm. He's just old. He should be the father of Grogu, more or less, by Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
And so that means
That
you
fits
got
in with his foundling mentality. Oh,
yeah,
but man, if we had a Mandalorian Yoda, like, wow, that'd be crazy.
I'm not saying that he's going to. I think he has to deal with the father angle. He goes back to Boca. He goes back to Boca, and he's got to take out. He's talking about taking off the helmet. What is your way versus what is my way? They're going to explore that a lot, and then he's going to say, "I'm not ready for this. I'm going to take the child." They go take the child, and the next episode, which will be the next to last one, and the last one, he takes the child to be his son. That's my current as it stands today. I will change that next episode, 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking we would see Bo-Katan until the last episode of this season again. Because I think she's tracking Moff Gideon to get to the Darksaber.
Well, who else would he go to for advice? Because I'm thinking he's going to need advice.
Well, I was thinking that Boba Fett would become his sage.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't see Boba Fett. Boba Fett saw him, but he didn't see Boba Fett. So unless Boba Fett's tracking him down, which, oh man, if they resurrect Slave 1 and bring him back in, this show is awesome.
Yeah, okay. Now that you say that, Boba Fett's going to be the one. Boba Fett's got to come back to something.
See, I figured as soon as we saw Boba Fett like in the flesh and that he wasn't actually dead, that I was like, okay, he's going to become the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Din's Luke Skywalker. He's going to be the mentor, the sage. And then, but then they never met. And I was like, oh, I guess that'll happen in the future.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
That's actually been so irrelevant, I've forgotten about it. Because
yes,
it's just like, yeah, he's there. So what's he doing? And maybe that's all there was to it, though. Maybe there's nothing else.
Yeah, maybe it was just fan service. Maybe it was just introducing him so that they could do another spin-off miniseries.
But what's he been hiding from? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason for him to be hiding in the wilderness. Empire's over.
Embarrassment?
Well, he got bested by a blinded Han Solo and a Wookiee, okay? You know what happens to the best of us? It happens to the best of us. I've lost the worst.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've definitely done worse.
So, okay. All right, Kyle. I know it's getting late over here in Granbury. I know it's like in Houston. So, any predictions?
I'm sorry.
No. It's lovely. I'm just old. Any predictions for next week's show?
Our show or the Star Wars show?
We will probably be here. The Star Wars show.
Yes. Oh, okay.
We will.
I think I'm going to like it.
Not here. Let me just say that.
Yeah. I think I'm going to like it. I think you're not going to like it. I think we're not going to find out much new. But I think we're going to see some cool special effects.
You're predicting grandma, long stem cigarette, slow sipping that cup of coffee, like milking every sentence off the first page, like 4 hours. That's what you're envisioning.
Yes.
She got the curlers in the hair. She's in her 90. The mailman comes by at noon, and she's still out there just sipping away. Okay.
Yeah, and there'll be some little reveal near the end of the episode that people are like, oh, and then we get excited about the one after next.
There's only 2 after that. So,
yeah.
They can't slow burn the last 3. That's what gives me hope.
They can't slow burn all of them.
No. They make it slow burn 2, but not all 3. No, they can only slow burn 1, I think. So they might slow burn this one, but that's it. So,
yeah.
All right.
Now, one thing, I did think of something.
Please.
In Legends, Tython is inhabited by dangerous beasts and possibly the descendants of the Rakata as a very dangerous subspecies known as Flesh Raiders. And so they may make it to Tython in the next episode and have a dickens of a time getting up that mountain.
He's got to have a mission. It's every episode. So,
yeah, but I just remembered how dangerous Tython was, because I was thinking like Onderon and Osis and all those things. But Tython's a pretty dangerous place. That's actually why the Jedi moved out of there. They're like, you can't survive on this planet if you don't have the Force.
And we've got it, and we're like, this is not good for us.
Yeah,
a little bit more upscale, ocean preferably, mountains nearby, good airports. We will be able to get around. We can't be slain.
Not wild beast and crazed sentient beings.
Okay. Final thoughts from you, Mr. Souza.
Oh, I think I've talked too much. I'm sorry.
You haven't talked enough. Not nearly enough. But it's late and I'm old, and so that's the only thing holding you back.
No, literally, that was the thing I was thinking. I've said too much.
That says it all, right? Do we have an official closing that you close the show out with or anything?
Oh, yeah. Well, did you want to say anything else?
No. I'm just looking forward. I'm glad they changed the pace. If for nothing else, I could not take another slow burn. Like, seriously, I could not do it. This gave me hope that the series, it has potential, but it's just too many. I think they don't have enough story. I think it's too much filler. So much like this podcast.
Would you say that it gave you a new hope? Okay. My apologies to everybody involved in that last joke.
Sorry, not sorry. Don't be sorry.
Yes. I'm Kyle Souza. The other fellow here is Ryan Ray. Please look him up online. Subscribe to this podcast, to this YouTube, to this wherever you're getting this from. Check it out. Check out Ryan Ray on warroommedia.com. My blog is thetalkinggeek.com. Ryan Ray, anything else you want? Outpost 23 on YouTube is his YouTube channel. I'm doing finger guns. Anything else you want me to shoot out?
No, sir. Get the shotgun. That's it.
Get the A350.
Rocket launcher. Yeah.
You can tell I don't hold guns. It's like a staff. Is this how you hold a gun?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening. You're a wonderful person. Every single one of you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Every single one. What is the key word there? all one of you. We do appreciate you.
100% of the listener. I appreciate that. Have a great night or day, whatever time you're listening to this.